tonight's meeting of the Lake City Council to order. Mandy, would you take a roll call, please?
Lloyd Latrell,
Present.
Lee McMillan, Kent Miller,
Present.
Matt Hardy,
Here.
Tony Heeler,
Yes.
Andrew Gribon.
Present. Thank you. If you'd stand with me for the invocation. Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us the privileges and the freedoms that we have in this great country, and allowing us to gather and representing our fine community. Be with us as we move forward and conduct the business for our city this evening, and be with our law enforcement and our soldiers as they protect us here and around the country. And again, we thank you for the freedoms you allow us to enjoy. In your name we pray, amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Andrew, do you have anything? Matt?
I just wanted to let you know that there's a couple boards on that river bridge that are creaking. Yeah, need to be looked at.
Okay, thank you. Lloyd? Thank you. Tony? I don't have anything. Next we'll go to Katie.
I don't have anything.
Okay, thank you. Jason?
I have some. The USDA, just to give you guys an update, water treatment plant, I'm talking to Stuart, they have been in contact with USDA, they were getting more information from KDG on the waste stream sun rate, and basically the way Stuart left it with me is, he's hoping by the end of September, we'll kind of have a indication from USDA of what they're gonna be able to commit to the project, and he also kind of got word from KDG, although it's not official, that the waste stream handling and anti-degradation stuff, the way we want to do it, looks like they're going to allow us to do it that way. So instead of having to, yeah, there could have potentially have to route all the way to the sewer plant, do all this crazy stuff. It kind of sounds like they're going to let us do. Those are two really good pieces of information that, you know, hopefully maybe not too far after September, we might be kind of saying, okay, let's start rolling on the actual design and get this thing ready to go to bid potentially.
So would that be budget for USDA, would that be budget year 2020, 2021?
I'm not sure on that,
1920?
I asked that with Stuart. Stuart said it didn't really seem to be, there's pots, there's money
Okay.
that they weren't really concerned about. Yeah, I kept asking Stuart about this, like, when's their year cut off? And he's like, they feel like there's money laying, I mean, it's just more, yeah. So that's really good news. And just as I got on here down, I'll skip a little bit, but the water pipeline, it had kind of an informational meeting. I sent out those letters, we already got 2 phone calls and a visit today. I've been real positive, just kind of asking questions and kind of, you've been to our sidewalk meetings, and I think the street construction project, you know, kind of the same format we're gonna do, just kind of give an overview. Stuart will be here, I'll be here. Obviously, you guys are welcome to be here, and just kind of really geared towards those property owners along the potential water pipeline route. Basically what we're trying to do is give a little education. You know, we get 95% of that route is basically right along the railroad right away. So it's really you know, noise and impact, but it's a minor impact compared to that right across the field or yard or something like that. So those are good things. And basically what we're trying to just make sure there's no huge objections to us just doing some basic surveying on the property, or, you know, doing the environmental review, you know, looking for any impacts there. So then that way we can kind of keep that part of rolling. I think it's going to be kind of a big push, you know. The interesting thing is I think I ended up sending out like 25 or 26 letters. So it's not, for as far along as that is, there's not that many property owners. You know, I'd say 8 of them are just in town. You know what I mean? So you get out of town and you're down to, you know, about 17 or so along that whole pathway. And a lot of them live here in town and different things. I think I shared that if you want to know kind of who those are. I can share with you.
This is next to the railroad right away, not in it. Is that
Correct, yeah, I don't think we'd be able to get in it, but
Okay.
it's kind of next to it. Kind of Stewart's point is, you know, a lot of times their irrigation drives are up there anyways and those types of things. So, and obviously either way, which is typical project, we work out some sort of a set financial arrangement, you know, we did crop damage or parentheses, which is pretty typical. You know what I mean? You kind of have that figured out, and if we do have to knock down some more, so it means we have some sort of mitigating compensation, yeah, for it, exactly. So, and that's been mainly they're mostly just, I assume that's what would happen, like, yeah, that's what would happen. And mostly, surprisingly, it's a couple of questions. Actually, one of them was the city of Glen Elder today. They just happened to be at the flood mapping meeting, and there's people don't know. They think it's going to either be above ground or something crazy. No, by the time it's done, you're not even going to know it's there, really. You know what I mean? So it's not going to be humped up or anything crazy at this point. So moving on to the South Street Drainage Project, I meant to get a picture of it, get that this afternoon. Hopefully you've been by it. Looks really nice and clean. You got a third of the road poured. They'll have 2 more pours on Wednesday and Thursday, and that'll be, probably in the next week that'll be opened back up. And basically as good as new. In fact, well, better than new. So that's pretty exciting, and it looks really nice. It turned out really good. Kind of go. Actually, I have here some of the numbers just for your perusal. Not to the penny just yet. It's just kind of my rough going through all the invoices, etc. So basically, again, this is including our own labor and some of our equipment. Some of the labor costs that we just allocated towards this project as opposed to doing regular street work, etc. So it's kind of inflated, but it's kind of that way for a reason. In order, we have the railroad going to pay us out a little over $100,000, so that's a pretty good deal. Here's kind of what the estimate was. I kind of bumped it up to the 217, 239. So we came in well under. Obviously, some buckets are higher than others. We took a little longer just for the product to get here than we thought. So we had a little bit more of a rental expense, but then some of the product was cheaper, and some of the backfill and that stuff came in cheaper. So all in all, typical of the project, you kind of have some highs and lows, but you get as good as you can. So if you take out that labor cost that we'd be carrying anyways, again, like I said, just instead of being in a street or some other project, it's here. We got this project done pretty cheap, and it's going to be a really good thing to just have off our list. We don't really hopefully think about it. I said that last year, the last chunk, but we're getting to the point now. We're running out of them, hopefully. So knock on wood. So so that's just kind of that. I'll as that settles out further, if there's any other updates, I just kind of want to let you know in case you're wondering. We were pretty well in the ballpark, if not ahead, so that's a good thing. Also, you'll see in the paper, there's the home demolitions for those 2 houses, just so you're aware of that. Obviously, it's still your prerogative to either accept or reject anything. There's just kind of the process to keep that moving ahead. Another really interesting thing we did this week was we went and looked at it's kind of something I've been toying with here for about the last 2 years. Just seeing if the solar project's kind of a good fit for us or not. We went over and looked at the Cloud County solar project. It's about 200 kW. Something that would probably be large enough scale where it starts making sense, and it can even be kind of a community solar project based, so that kind of scale of economy. So if people wanted to buy into it or buy their panels out there close to on their property around their house, something we would be looking at would be about 1 megawatt probably. So I do have Scott kind of working on the numbers. I'm working on some numbers just to give you guys something at some point to consider. We do have some properties that we could put it on that would hook in really nice. And actually was really impressed with that system. Really pretty simple. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it all now, but it wouldn't take very much to put that together. I mean, it's pretty impressive how simple they've gotten. I mean, it's just, plug and play and bolt it together, and there it goes, And this one actually, when we would look at tilts, so it doesn't track all the way, but it tracks, this way, just on, I don't know, certain, certain dimensions, so it's not a 360 degree, but, so it's pretty efficient that way. And again, it's really to fit that, that load profile we have, especially during the summer months where it's, really peaks out right over the noon, 1, 2 o'clock, and that's when that's the most effective. So, I'd say 1 megawatt like this, and we'll get more into that when we get more information for you guys just to kind of keep considering. A project like this, 1 megawatt would probably cover 4 to 5 acres. Okay, so just give you a perspective. So, interestingly enough, one motor will turn that whole 1 megawatt. Just tilt those with one big electric motor and just tilt them. And we were sitting there about every 10 minutes, they tilt a little bit more, and it's really interesting how that all works. So there's more to come. I just want to let you guys know what we were doing a little bit on that. And then the intern work update. Again, this is just something we're going to get more on the buggy here, kind of a month to just catch it back up, but we'll kind of get our committees reconvened. One thing I've done just in the meantime is I've had we have a contractor in town that specializes in the Lester buildings, and obviously if we get closer to it, we'd have to put it out for bid, that type of thing, but I kinda wanna just get a planning estimate of what that would take, because we've gotten really good positive feedback about that, so, that's kind of, just so you know, sort of order motion to kind of get us some ideas, so we can start working on, hey, this is the Dane Hansen, something to put in a chunk of money just for that over in Concordia. I mean, I was shocked at how much they put into that, it was $150,000, I think, so, I think we need to ask Dane Hansen for more money. So, they're rattling off numbers over there, so that's kind of what I plan to do. So again, the signage, all that stuff, we'll kind of be reconvening those committees now that the school started and things are going, so that's all I've got, Tom.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next item is Economic Development Director.
Yep, that's me. So yes, signage is one of them, downtown development's another, so we are kind of both, Jason and I have talked, we've got to kind of get those committees back to going. And just like you said, I've got 2 checks sitting on my desk now, and they're not for a lot, but they're both from Hanson, and so we just got to keep on that. So we want them to know our names. So a couple of things that we have from them, Destination Boot Camp, that one did come from Hanson, and I'm getting ready to kick that off in 2020. That's where I'm going to take 5 to 6 businesses to Longmont, Colorado to learn some new marketing techniques. I keep following what he's been doing because there's classes going on right now and they're full, and it's pretty amazing to see kind of what that guy can do. And then youth entrepreneurship is my other check that I have from Hanson via the Community Foundation, and so we did get awarded those dollars, and we will start that program for all of our junior high and high school kids in Mitchell County that want to participate. And that's kind of like a little science fair, but it's about build your business. And the students will participate in 3 ways. They can do an executive summary, like a little business plan, but it's 3 pages, an actual trade show, a little trade show booth, and then like a 4-minute spiel about their business. They can work individually, they can work in teams. Again, it can be from junior high to high school, and they win real cash prizes. So that was kind of what I asked dollars for, were for cash prizes, and then I also have a few sponsorships around that will also award them prizes. They can compete with us, and then if they win, then they can go on a state level, and then they're talking big dollars. I think the top winners win $4 grand, and I'd like to put in 16 and win $4,000 on something. And they don't have to put it into their business. They can really do whatever they want. It's not a scholarship. It really is cash. So we're excited to kick that off. Some of our neighbors have been doing that for a year or 2, and so we're excited to kind of get that going here. I'm still working on remote working. We attended a remote working summit, Rural and Remote Summit last week in Hayes. There were lots of speakers there. There were probably 150 people, and most of them in Hanson territory, because it's another thing Hanson is talking about. It was interesting to talk to people that are working remotely, companies that hire remote workers, people that already have co-working spaces, people that are literally just doing it from their homes. It was a very interesting conversation. All of us are kind of trying to figure it out. The numbers that just continuously stick with me are that 43% of our workforce will be working somewhat remotely by 2020. And the one lady was hilarious. She's like, you got a cell phone, you're working remotely already. It's just if it's actually working from an office and working remotely. And I think that's probably what we'll look at more. People that are doing it on a part-time basis that are either working partially, they call them strategically, well, gig too. But yeah, she had a name, whether they work like in the office or whether they work remotely. And so they did a couple presentations about it. I think where Hanson is putting their money is helping people get that training to be a good remote worker. And what I would like to be able to do with that is then when we're recruiting people back to the area, we're recruiting hopefully higher paying jobs, and which is good for us. So it's very interesting. We're still having the conversations. We're all still trying to figure it out. So that's been really good. And then neighborhood revitalization, I'll be back hopefully in another 2 weeks, hopefully, to talk about neighborhood revitalization. I think that's all I know. Unless you have questions. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. Next item is Police Chief Report. Dave, do you have anything this evening?
Yep. Luke Danicky is our newest addition to the PD. He's going to take over Sergeant Lusk's position. So he'll be taking over as a supervisor for patrol and training. So I just wanted to present it to you before he got a uniform on and got a car. Everybody's like, hey, well, I thought he was a deputy. But,
Well, he was.
he was. He brings 9 years of experience and training over, so we're looking forward to it.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you for working. Anything else?
No, sir, you can go right ahead with the rest of your meeting.
Thank you. Glad you give us permission.
Just want to make sure we right.
Next thing I forgot to mention, we have a revised agenda this evening under discussion items, a stop sign at 13th. So that's what that is. Next item this evening is a consent agenda for September the 3rd. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda in its entirety. Been a motion today by Councilman Miller. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilman Graybon to approve the consent agenda in its entirety. Any discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Next item this evening under ordinances is 2257, the mower assessment. Any questions on that?
So moved.
Then moved by Councilman Graybon that we approve ordinance 2257, mowing assessments. I have a second. Second by Councilman Gingler. Any discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Next item is ordinance 2250.